To the untutored eye, the difference might seem academic. The tapes are similar, but the technology is different.
In 1988, there was a war. Betamax versus VHS. 25 years later, we know which one won. Betamax was technically superior to VHS, but marketing and not technology dictated the winner.
It's currently full of hydrogen, and I'm going to take it for a little bit of a test drive.
The first commercially produced hydrogen car was introduced by Hyundai with the iX35 in 2013. Meanwhile, modern pure battery electric cars, as we know it, came to the fore with General Motors' EV1 in 1996.
The electric car is here.
We are led by feuding factors to tell us which one's best. What will you be driving in 25 years' time? Will you be led by marketing or technology? Electric cars bring a host of benefits to the table. First and foremost, an environmental champion. We are told that there is zero tailpipe emissions. They reduce our dependence on fossil fuels. Yes, we are told that coal-powered power plants help make the electricity. That is partially the case now, but that's getting better and better. Sustainability is winning this argument. But there's one thing nobody can have any doubt on, is that EVs keep the air clearer. But it's not just about environment. Electric cars can also be kind to your wallet. Yes, they are more expensive up front. I think on average, at the moment, it costs about £50,000, £40,000 to £55,000 to get an electric car. But that money is offset by the running costs, which are significantly cheaper.
Prices here are ticking up, and so is the pain. Another day, another petrol price record. It now costs over £95 to fill an average tank with unleaded, over £100 to fill it with diesel.
There's no more petrol or diesel bills, and fewer moving parts means a lot less maintenance. And then there's the advancements in technology. EV batteries are getting better and better every year. Every model, there's a significant improvement. Range is getting longer and charging times are getting shorter. This means they became more convenient and practical for everyday use. And an overwhelming majority of EV owners and drivers would not go back to combustion vehicles. So chances are that battery electric vehicles are doing something right. But there are a few problems with electric cars. One of the biggest problems at the moment is infrastructure. Yes, we hear this all the time. Infrastructure this, Tesla this. Everything else isn't quite up to par. And yeah, I would agree. It is getting better.
Los Angeles. Good views. Here we are, Beverly Hills. Bad traffic. So many electric vehicle chargers. Charger number 1, 2, 3. From the streets of downtown to the beach in Santa Monica. 11, 19, 23. We visited 30 DC fast charging locations. None of them run by Tesla. 28, 29, 30.
Whilst charging points are becoming more common, they're still not as widespread as traditional petrol stations. This can lead to range anxiety, the fear of running out of electrons before you can recharge. Then there is the environmental impact of the batteries themselves. Whilst they're emission-free when driving, the production and subsequent disposal of these batteries have significant environmental footprint. Although saying this, most EV batteries can be recycled, so they either go into another car or they go into home storage or whatever. They are a valuable resource and they're not just being thrown away as people lead to believe. They are being recycled, and there is certainly a second life to this.
This has been the goal from day one, to be able to better use second life batteries, reduce emissions, and bring a cleaner future along with U.S. domestic manufacturing to the United States and to San Diego.
And let's not forget about the sourcing and mining of rare minerals needed for electric car batteries, which can be problematic and controversial. Now let's shift it a bit and let's talk about hydrogen cars. Just like electric cars, they produce zero tailpipe emissions, but instead of storing energy in the battery, they generate electricity from hydrogen in a fuel cell. One of the biggest benefits of hydrogen cars is their fast refueling times. It takes about the same amount of time as it does to fill up your petrol or diesel car. Toyota are really pushing this, and they are really taking a stance against pure electric vehicles. Shame really, as one of the forerunners for electric vehicle adoption, albeit this was a hybrid, was the Prius. Also, early on in the development of hydrogen cars, they were professing a lot more range than pure electric battery cars. Hydrogen production can also be scaled up and potentially integrated with renewable energy sources, offering a path to sustainable and wide-scale use. The colour of hydrogen is also really important, as green hydrogen is made with all sustainable sources. More on that in a minute. Great, well surely that is the win for hydrogen. It's more range, less battery, produces nothing but water in its tailpipe. Not exactly, and they also have their downfalls too. Foremost among them is the cost and availability of hydrogen fueling stations. I just checked this, and of 2023 there are only 10 refueling stations in the UK that a private individual can use. And strangely, they all seem to be around where Toyota's offices are. Nah, I'm joking, but the point is there isn't many about. They're not cheap to build. Hydrogen fuel is hazardous because of its low ignition energy, high combustion energy, and because it easily leaks from tanks. Explosions at hydrogen fueling stations have been widely reported.
Fire, the hydrogen buses were being fueled at the hydrogen fueling station.
But this shocking footage of the massive explosion shows clouds of smoke releasing into the midnight sky.
Because of this, hydrogen storage and distribution isn't easy either. God, I can't say that. Because of this, hydrogen storage and distribution isn't easy either. That's the best take I'm going to get from that. On top of that, hydrogen fuel production isn't all that efficient. It requires a lot of energy, which means it's currently more expensive and less eco-friendly than other green technologies. You know, green hydrogen, which I mentioned earlier, is the best form of hydrogen. Well, all the other colours are less good for the environment. So I'm going to leave a list on the screen. You've got 10 seconds, read it, and I'll come back. Have you read them all? Okay, good. So why haven't we seen hydrogen cars take off in the same way electric cars have? Well, two things: production costs and infrastructure. Not to mention, the public seems to have a strong preference for electric cars due to their growing popularity and ongoing development. Remember a few minutes ago I mentioned that hydrogen had a better range? Well, certainly back when it was first being touted, yes they did. They had about 300 miles range, whereas electric only had about 80 to 100. Things have changed. We are now seeing battery vehicles with over 300 miles of range, so technology has obviously improved. Plus, there are safety concerns associated with hydrogen storage and handling, which further limits their appeal. Think of any high pressure environment, and if something crashes into that, what's going to happen? Big old explosion. That pressure's got to be released. Big explosion. However, battery electric cars, yes, they have been in the news for fires and things like this. They aren't necessarily explosions, but they are sort of smaller ones, and they burn for a long time. However, companies like BYD and Tesla, of course, have already developed and implementing less flammable battery technology into their manufacturing process. So days of having newspaper articles about how flammable electric cars are going to be changing somewhat. In the press, the battle for electric versus hydrogen cars, there is no clear winner, and we do know that hydrogen will have its day. But when? I ask, when will hydrogen have its day? We keep hearing about it, but I never see it. We have been waiting, and we still are. Yes, the one thing I do agree on though is both technologies do have a future. Battery electric vehicles, more obvious. Hydrogen fuel cell cars, I should say, less certain at this point. But I do think there's a use case for everything which leads on the path to a more sustainable future. What's clear is that a green revolution of the automotive industry is here, and it's picking up momentum. So will marketing or technology win in this format war? I think technology will win in this case. The improvement of battery electric vehicles has been, over the past 10 years, has been substantial. Hydrogen hasn't seen that level of evolution at this point. Yes, I do think hydrogen will have its place. I just don't know where that's going to be yet. I don't think anybody does, really. However, one thing that hydrogen could be good for is any and all water crises. Have a look at this video here to see what I'm banging on about. After all, if you burn hydrogen, you get water as a byproduct. So it might well be that you could harvest hydrogen water off your tailpipe. Slightly odd scenario to be in, and we looked at this video as well. This says about how much water it takes for the equivalent of 250 miles worth of range.